Now, what I'm doing is I'm going to take this Intel out of this thing and put it into this box. I'm going to pull the board out first. Oh, come on. I already don't like this box. Now, from what I've seen, it looks like the power supply is still good, so I'll probably salvage that, which I may just do first. That thing is full of screws. So just FYI, what I usually do for a lot of my spare screws anyway, is I've got, using a pill bottle, pill container thing. And on my other computer, I've got the ones for this computer specifically. I'm using a little one, which this one I got from my father-in-law, and I have not been able to find another one just like it. So I traded with him for a slightly bigger one. And I think that one works a little bit better because all the crap I've got in that drawer just fits nicer. I don't really have that many screws anyway. More than a few screws loose. But yeah, apparently I've got enough screws in this thing that this thing won't shut anymore. So we'll have to see what I can get away with. I might have to find another container for some of those, or maybe I'll harvest some and stash them in my main computer for spare screws. Because quite frankly, I don't really need them. Yeah, so I've got this one on my big computer. This is what I'm using. So I suppose I'm also just going to save some of these style screws in here. Give myself a little room. Otherwise, I don't know what I'm going to do with them. Use those for spares there. I might save some of the other black ones I've got for the other thing, which I don't think I'm going to need that many for a single computer. Yeah, I guess that'll do. Oh, and I was worried about the thing falling out. Looks like I don't need to worry about that. So here's a bar holding that thing in. Cross member, whatever. Containment unit. Yeah, I suppose maybe I can pawn this thing off on somebody else. The case anyway. I don't really care for the case. Cables, definitely worth keeping. Yeah, I don't particularly like it because it's only got USB 3 on the front, and I like to have some regular USB 2s on there for giggles. Ooh. And that fan doesn't look too bad. Might save the fan too. Alright. Oh, goody. Clip is over here on this side. So I've got another IBM over there, or Intel over there. It's an ITX case, but it doesn't seem to want to run, and I'm a little disappointed. And it's got some Corsair memory in it, but I didn't want to pull it out because it's an ITX case and it's a real pain to get it back in. So I'm going to leave it and see if I can't figure out if I can get that thing running or not. And then all is good. If it works, I'll set it up for my father-in-law for him to stream out there. Because, you know, I think an Intel would be good for a streaming computer. If I'll, you know, as long as he's not gaming too. Ah, look at that. Well, aside from the fact that it's a 380 watt, it looks like it's a good... Where's all the other cables at? Looks like it's a good power supply. Stuff zip tied. Yes, it is. Darn it. At least I don't have to zip that. So yeah, my cousin-in-law brought over a couple of these, and I was pretty tickled about having an IBM for a change because I would like to run some, well, use this as a backup streaming computer that I might run out in the garage anyway, but I was going to run it out in the garage as a processing computer for setting at home and things like that, and just, you know, mining, you know, whatever. Oh, that's kind of dusty. But does this have PCI Express? Yes, it does. It seemed kind of silly to have PCI Express in a 380 watt freaking power supply. So just about any video card that's going to require PCI Express is going to be like freaking like at least 400, and this doesn't put out the wattage to cover that. Not wattage, amperage. Is it just the one, or is there two? I guess it's just the one. But this could be a useful backup power supply for another computer, say the cousins across the street, or something like that. Like I said, the case itself I don't really give a flying whoop about. Not really that important to me. Oh, it's got built-in DisplayPort. Nice. Now I am thinking I want the fan. I know the fan was working okay. Means I might not have to use the other one I brought in for my heatsink. But I'm definitely keeping those black screws. Black screws are kind of nice. I only seem to see them in newer cases. Is this an Antec case? I didn't think it was. Yeah, as far as I know, this fan works though. Pretty sure it did when I turned it on earlier. What kind of RPMs this thing pushes if it even be worth it for a heatsink? How much airflow I can get. It didn't look that bad though. Oh wait, it's got that. I don't know. I'll think about it. Put that on the back burner right now. It doesn't say that, but I'm wondering if it is an Antec case. Something else in this thing is Antec. Could be, because if it's only got a 350 watt power supply, I'm thinking maybe it came with the case, which is like one of the prepackaged jobs. Happens on occasion. Let's see. Alright, give me a sec here. I want to write down these numbers for the Windows 7. Focus. Come on, focus. focusing? Oh, seriously, come on. Why are you gonna do me like that? Oh, that's so small. Why are you still not focused? Come on. Oh, I think it was just that ball that got knocked. Alright. Disconcerting that it's not focusing like it should. I didn't realize this is actually a wide board. Alright, what am I missing? Oh, there's another screw. This will work. There. Come on, get in there. Come on. Oh. Get over the tab. There. Oh, now it focuses. That's great. That's awesome. So I have to run the case out to the garage real quick, so watch the rats. Really? Okie dokie. I'm back. So this is my old case, the one I just replaced. It's not really that old, but it is kind of. It's a Cooler Master Storm Scout. And I got it originally because I like having the extra bays for shits and giggles. And since it didn't have a hot swap deck or USB 3s, I got this thing where I can put either type of hard drive in it. And especially for the handle, because we didn't know exactly how long we're going to be living here, if we're going to be moving again, and it's just convenient having something with a handle on it. And I since replaced it with a Cooler Master Half X, which is by far bigger and actually really does a really good job of the cooling, which I am tickled over. It actually dropped my temperatures by 5 degrees. This thing was kind of cramped, and I tend to keep a lot of crap in my computer, so I figured that'd be better for most of my usual stuff, gaming and whatnot. And this would be, I think, would be really awesome for sticking out in the garage to run as a processing computer and as an alternate streaming computer. So I was pretty tickled when he brought over that that Intel. Really tickled. Let's pop that off. Pop that off. But empty, I think this thing's like 10 pounds, maybe? 10 or 15, something like that. It's not that heavy. But when I had it fully loaded, oh my god, that thing was heavy. But the handle held up, so I'm not bitching. Let me rewire some crap here. And this was my original power supply I started off with in this computer. And the main complaint I had was that some of these cables, like the first cable, wouldn't reach all the way up to the top. Actually, it looks like it does now. Holy crap, for some reason it looks like it reaches now. Maybe it's because of all the other stuff. Oh yeah, because I had to get it over the video card and whatnot. Alright, come on. All the cables need to come out now. All the cables, come on. Oh yeah, let me lock this down. Okay, let's see. What I liked about this was the way this clip thing was designed. I thought that was really fantastic. Let's see, that's the E-SATA on the front. That can get out of the way for now. These two are for the hot swap deck here. Let's get those here for now. Come out of the way. Oh, you know what? I forgot to get my case screws and stuff out of here. Okay. I've got a drawer. Oops. I've got a drawer here. Makes things pretty convenient and handy. So we need those for the hard drives. So I'll get to them a little bit. I think that's a Cooler Master fan there, and I think the fan is still working pretty well, so I'm going to leave the fan. There is a secondary fan light switch, which I never really got around to using, and now I'm actually finding the stupid things the stupid fans that have that switch on them. Okay, let's see. And so as it turns out, this memory is not the best looking memory. As opposed to the stuff that's in the IPX computer is a Corsair Vengeance, which I'm not a big fan of Corsair, but it's still better than this stuff. So, like, Cousin-in-law's boss, he really skips on some parts when he spends more money on other parts. And the weird thing is, it's really funny when I was looking at the hard drive on this thing. Why did he put it in those slots? I don't know. So there's the slots you're supposed to put them in. I don't know, I'm pretty sure my heatsink will clear it. Better. Yeah, so anyway, when I was looking through the hard drive, yeah, that'll definitely clear the memory. I think, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we'll find out. But I'm pretty sure it'll do the job just fine. Make it real hard to change out the memory. Anyway, yeah, so when I was checking out the old hard drive, like, it's just like office applications on this thing. I'm like, why? It seems so silly. To go and get an Intel for just, you know, bookkeeping. And it wasn't even like CAD programs or anything. You know, this is only 8 gigs of memory. I don't even know if this is going to be worth it. I might see if I can slap some more of my DDR3 in here. Or if I can't get that IPX working, maybe I'll slap that memory in here after I find out how much is in it. You know, I honestly should probably look up this board. Make sure I got the memory where I need to have the memory before I go swapping things. Give me a hot second here. There we go. Okay. Yep, that looks right. Okay, let's see if I can support this thing. There we go, there's support. Not the manual. I don't know why some of these boards do that, but usually, like back in the day, you used to have to put it in the first slot first. And then if it's dual channel, you put it in that slot there. If it's channeled this way. Some newer boards, like the one I just put in, has them here, and those are the two main slots that you're supposed to put it in. But I've seen a couple other boards where you're supposed to start here first, and then only if you have all 4 slots used do you fill these. Or if you're just doing single channel, you can put it in here. It's kind of weird why they do that. But this one says the same thing. You're supposed to put in those second slots first. Oh wow, really? This motherboard does not support DIMMs made up of 512 megabytes or less. I mean, obviously you wouldn't want that less anyway, but if you're running 64-bit, you want more. Yep, okay. Well, anyway. Let's see here. Of course, I have to put a standoff here. That sucks. I hate it when it has to go into the damn wires. Oh, yeah, I need my tool. My socket thing. Where's my screwdriver? Oh, here. Oh. Oh, please. Just go on there. There. Okay. There. So we need one more standoff there and one there. By the looks of it. Is that right for these two? Yeah, that's right. Okay. Stay. I can't get it behind that wire. I'm not even sure if I'm going to do it. Yay! Getting a screw in there is going to be a different matter. Oh. Jeez, I'm not even sure I need the socket on there, right? Okay, yeah. You know, maybe that might be doable. We'll see. We'll see. Oh. Yes, it is. It is, in fact, the Sonic. Yeah, sorry if I don't respond right away. It's like the computer's behind me, so I don't see the monitor like right away. I don't see all my chat. Where's the other? There it is. I'm going to run you through here first. Okay, now screws. Which screws do I need for this? I think it's these. Yep, that's the right screw. Okie dokie. Comply. Yeah. Yeah, oh gosh, I don't remember exactly when I got this, but it was like right around the time that the first oh my god, Matt Smith, when Matt Smith, like the first season Matt Smith was on. And I used to have the blue one, the old blue one with the, you know, the UV light on it, and I don't know what the hell happened to it. So I ended up getting this one because, you know, I like the whole idea of being functional too. But quite frankly, this thing is huge. But it is nice for doing the computer work. It actually does the job for most of it. Alright, now begins the delicate part of the operation here. Let's see. Do I want to put these plugs in first? No, I think I better screw it down. First off. Okay, it is labeled. Alright. So yeah, why don't I just put the board in first? This is going to be the harder part. Especially since I got to get behind my wires here. Oh my gosh, this is a pain. I didn't realize it was going to be so tight. I didn't realize this is a full-size board. Alright, let's try going the other way first. Let's see if that'll work. Well, are you in? Please tell me you're in. Get in there. Alright. Oh my god, come on. What is the hang up here? Seriously, what is the hang-up? Well, aside from it being dusty, see, these cables are sort of out of the way. Aha, got it. Oh, I love that click. I love it when you get that satisfying clunk as it goes into the I/O ports, right? I hate those boards where you have to hold it against the thing as you're trying to put the stupid screws in. Of course, they've been pretty good about the build on boards lately, so it seems like they pop in like they should most of the time anymore, compared to the ones that came out like early mid-2000s or earlier, and they don't want to go against that I/O plate too well. Oh, thank you. Yeah, thanks for the follow. I hope that if this works out, I'll actually be able to do some more builds outside. I got another case and a whole bunch of other older boards that the cousin-in-law had brought me. To which I plan on at least the one case I plan on building an XP box out of, and if I can get it, I wouldn't mind getting a capture card and running some games on XP through an older computer. You know, playing like they're meant to be played. I hate running on virtual boxes. Like half the time they don't work right, and I noticed that with like NVIDIA anyway. Like with the newer the newer video cards, they don't utilize the driver the way it should. It's like, since NVIDIA stopped supporting XP, like anytime you try to run a virtual box and try to run an older game, it just says nope, can't find the video driver, because it doesn't seem to want to respond right. I don't know. I think it's just something about the way the virtual boxes, the virtual machines work. So I got a bunch of old video cards and like at least 4 older boards that'll run XP just fine, and I've got, well, it's basically a pirated version of XP. Got all the tweaks already in it, and I don't have to activate it, which I don't think they care about anymore anyway, so I think they stopped worrying about it. So, like, I got a couple of 939s. yeah, the rats. You know what? While you're watching, hold on a second. See if I can rustle them up. Hi. 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 How you doing? How you doing? Hi, Daly. Hi. Hi. And there's 2 downstairs. Hi. That's your eye. Oh, you got a little wound on your eye. You be okay, girl? How much fighting with your sister, with your offspring? Hi. Hi. Hang on. Hang on. Let me get your treat. Hang on. There you go. There you go, Luna. You go, Daly. Oh, do I have to get more? You guys even finish the last ones I gave you? And much squeaking and fighting was had. Take it before Luna does. No, 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 Luna. Here. Oh my God. Here. There you go. Sorry, I didn't mean to slam it. There's some oats. Oh yeah, we got, I think they're great. I had one when I was a kid. And he was like my best friend. He followed me, he went with me everywhere. Like I had him in my pocket. I had I always used to wear pocket shirts. And he would ride around with me in my shirt pocket everywhere. My paper route, over to a friend's house. Anytime I was, pretty much anywhere I went. Anytime I went anywhere, he had to be with me. He was such a good guy. And I don't remember exactly how old he was when he passed away, but I hadn't had any since. And even after getting married, it never really came up with me and my wife. I don't know. I know I brought it up to her that I had a rat and I wouldn't mind getting some more. But we just never really, I guess it just never really came up in conversation. It just never occurred to me to even say anything. And say, hey, how would you like to get some rats? And then, she passed away about 11 years ago now. And now I'm with my fiancée here. And she's like, I'd like to get some other blah, 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 blah. And I don't know, we just got to talking about it. And the conversation came up where I think she had, like, hamsters at one point. And they're just not as interesting. And I was talking to her about my rats, about my pet rat, and how smart they are. And so we got this, the female, she's the gray-headed one. Not the Dumbo, but the other, the regular gray-headed one. She's the biggest one. And we decided, hey, let's see if we can get a little family going. So we got a male who's like all brown, well, except for some white on his belly. And we had a litter last year. And boy, did we roll high on the dice on that. We were expecting some people to take some, but we ended up having to keep them all. We ended up with 13 originally. 2 of them died early on, like, within the first day. And we have 11. So it was all grand total of 13, and then we picked up the Dumbo around December. And she is such a sweetie. She loves to, like, when you're playing with her, she'll lick your hand. And we've got let's see, 8 boys. Grand total of 8 boys. One of which is a father. Let me see if I can move the camera over here so you can see. Over in that cage in the back there. Yeah, they typically live alone. They typically live longer than mice. General consensus is about 3 years, but I've heard of a lot of people. I guess maybe it's overbreeding or something. I guess some of the licensed breeders they specialize too much. Like you get the Dumbos or you get the different types that they kind of interbreed more and more to get to specialize their colors and stuff like that. And so some of them, I've been seeing a lot of YouTubers, talking about how they lose them before they even reach 2. But in theory, they should live to between 3 and 5. And I think my guy, I lost him when he was about 2. But anyway, what we've got here is we've got the girls in the big cage and then the boys over there in the little cage, where we have 3 of them that, like, we'll let them out and roam around for a little while. And then these 3, they end up going over to the girls' cage and we have to quarantine them so they don't get into too much trouble and bother the girls so much. And then the other 5 are over in the other 5 are over in that cage over there. Well, sort of. We also have a carrier. It's well, they ended up chewing a hole in the carrier, so they're basically using it as a safe house. They sleep in that thing all day. They're great though. They are so smart. And like Saturday, I got to clean the cage again. I've been having to do this for once a week now because we're having a problem with mites. And I think cleaning every other week was just like too long, and I think that was part of the problem. But anyway, on Saturday, what I was going to do is I'm going to clean the cages, and then I'll probably turn the camera on and start streaming then, because then they start taking all the paper that we put in there, and they start ripping up the floor, they start grabbing all the loose paper that they can find, and then they start stuffing the heck out of that critter cube that they're sleeping in, that blue-purple thing. And it's just so funny watching them industriously sharing the work. You know, one will rip the thing, and the other one will run it upstairs, and then a third one will stuff it into the thing. The boys, they not so much. They don't nest as much. But there is one of them that does. He's the big guy. I named him Mocha. He's actually the biggest of the 8, and he's one of the offspring. And he's like 2 pounds. He's so heavy. But he's not really just fat. He's quite muscly. But he will nest. He'll take paper towels from me and then start nesting with it. And I'm not even gonna bother with that screw. That's just too much of a pain in the ass right there. Get them all in. I think so. Yeah, I'll try to make sure. Yes, they are social. Yes, they. From what I found out, it turns out that male mice are territorial, and you shouldn't, unless they're part of the same, unless they're siblings, you shouldn't group them together. Rats, on the other hand, they do need companions. Now, you can get away with, if you have the time, like, to just socialize with your rat all day long. Like if you don't work or something, if you can be home most of the time, you can socialize. You can let him be free roaming and socialize with him and hold him and cuddle him and whatever, and they will be content with that. But it is ideal to try to have another one if you can. So minimum 2. It's sort of like guinea pigs, but they're not as codependent as guinea pigs. But they will be codependent on their human, on their owner, if that's the only rat you have. Sorry about that. The sugar's all clogged up. There we go. That's better. So yeah, they are quite the social rodent. One of the few that really is that social. Now, like I said, mice can be, but generally, I didn't know this, but apparently with mice you need to separate the males. And that is so interesting. I didn't know that. I know I had a couple mice when I was younger, and I had gerbils when I was younger, and I don't remember really much about the mice, as I don't think I had them that long. Okay, let's see. You know what? I forgot to look at this board when I was looking at this, to see what these ports are here. You know what? I got the PDF up. I'll just look at that. Yeah, to be honest, I don't think you really can game with VirtualBox. I mean, like, every time I've tried it, it just never really worked out. You can do DOSBox. That's different. That's not really an emulator. It just basically emulates DOS. That's it. And DOS works completely different. Like most DOS games don't really utilize OpenGL and stuff like that. That's not the connectors I want. Excuse me. So what is the SATA Express BS? Oh, okay. Huh. Oh, that solves the problem. I think, let me pull my cables out here. Which one is facing? Okay. Are you serious? Okay, fine. I guess I'm plugging them in here. Yep, I guess what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to use this for the optical drive. Yeah, virtual boxes are good for like network servers, and I guess doing whatever other things that you need for programming and stuff like that. But as far as gaming, and I've had people be like, "Well, why don't you just do that on a virtual box?" Like, you can't. It just doesn't work. I don't know how many times you can try it. It just does not want to work. It doesn't see the video cards and stuff like it should, and it just, a lot of times, you'll have a hard time, just like, say if it's a game you want to try to go online to update or something, it just won't do it. It will not work that way. Similar issue with Linux sometimes. If you have a game that wants to update itself, Linux won't let it do it. The newer versions might. I don't know, I haven't tested that. I was going to work on that with some of the stuff I've got. Now that I've got a newer version of Linux installed, I want to check it out. Come on, get in there. Ah, fat fingers. I don't have the manual dexterity I used to. Of course, my eyes aren't as good as they used to be either. Yeah. That's basically, yeah, same kind of thing. Yeah, that's what the virtual boxes are basically good for, as well as oh, sorry. NAS box. That's another interesting one if you want to check out. It's basically a server box that I don't even know if you're familiar with it. NAS box. It's a network access server, I think is what it stands for. So basically, you slap a whole bunch of large hard drives in the thing, and then you set up your NAS box, and then anybody that's on the network can see those and store things in that network server and access it and blah, 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 blah. It's a nifty way to share things without actually having to share your computer. That's another thing I was actually kind of thinking about trying to set up. I do have another board that's an AM2, and it's like the only thing I've got that's got enough memory to do it, 8 gigs of memory. I don't know if I need a faster computer for that, though. I just know I need 8 gigs of memory. Oh, dear Lord. This is hard to see these things. Let's see. I guess I have to look at the header thing. Yeah, yeah, definitely. And it's hold on. I think when you look it up, it's spelled something like it's just NAS, something like that. Where's my IOs? Save. Where's my? Oh my God, where's my front panel? It's the audio. I don't care about that. Where's my? I want my M2 socket. I want my freaking front header. There. Okay. Give me a sec. I have to go to the bathroom real quick. And might as well just step outside while I'm at it. Might as well take this up too. Oh wait, no, I need that. Stick it there. Alright, I'm back. But yeah, NAS box is actually kind of neat, but I think maybe, I don't know if you might need a higher end computer to do it. I just know you need 8 gigs of memory. You need an 8 gig flash drive. And you have to download the ISO, burn it onto a disk, and then run that disk on the same computer with the flash drive plugged in that you're going to run it on. Now, I haven't actually gotten any farther than that, because I ended up cannibalizing the computer I was going to do that with to do something else. Now that I've got a couple more spare boxes and more motherboards, I think I want to try it. But I'm not sure which box I'm going to put it in. But like I said, this one is going to be primarily for running processing like BOINC, which is Berkeley Open Infrastructure something or other, where you can run Set8 Home and stuff like that. And I've been dying to get an Intel to do this with. And now that I finally got one, I'm just so tickled. And it's actually a good one. This is an i5 4690, which isn't too bad. I mean, it's DDR3. It's not like the brand new ones. That's fine. But I prefer gaming, so I generally go with AMDs. They're much better for that. Intels are much better for like computing, processing, rendering, things like that. Power button. Oh, yeah, that's not helpful at all. Crap. Okay. Okay. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to use my eyes anyway. Try and figure this out. And of course the power one. Oh, cool. Alright. These are separated, yeah. Maybe I should have pulled some over to set this on so I can look at it a little closer. Yeah, that's positive. That's negative. Oops. Totally didn't get that in the right place. Should have grabbed my little standoff thing. Aha, got it in there. Okay. Now, that's the hard drive LED. What's this? The hard drive? That's the switch. Reset. Get over there. Come on. That should be the hard drive. Yep. Positive, negative. Yes, if this was a top-mounted power supply, that'd make it a little harder. Because on the bottom of the case would be right here. It'd be a lot harder to read this thing. Power switch reset. And so I'm going to probably run Linux on this thing out in the garage. see the speaker cable's there. You're not helpful. Okay. Oh, got speaker. Speaker. There we go. Going to assume this way. I don't know if that's right or not. Yeah, I've been doing this for a little while. A lot of it is hands-on, I'll be honest. I got my own first actual computer in 2006, but I've been playing around with computers since like 92, since a friend of mine had one that I kind of got into. It was an old 486. Oh my god, it was a 486 with 4 megabytes of RAM, and 400 megabytes hard drive space. And we used to play stuff like X-Wing and stuff like that on it. And that was my first experience playing anything online through like bulletin boards and stuff like that. And then got into it a little bit later in the early 2000s. Getting a little more hands-on experience playing some stuff with a friend's computer, another friend's computer, until we went out and got our own. Back in the day, where my first one was a 939, AMD 939. But a little tip, don't let anybody fool you. Intels, they're great, but they're good, like I said, for processing and stuff like that. Like, say if you do CAD work, like 3D rendering, 3D modeling, certain types of calculations, and things like that, Intels will blow through stuff like that like it's nobody's business. But when it comes to gaming, AMDs are that much better. They do 3D gaming way better. So I guess I'm going to plug that here into the board here. Unfortunately, though, AMDs do run hotter. They tend to run higher TDP, yeah, thermal threshold. Where, like, at least the one that I've got right now, I've got an AM3 in my main computer right now, and that's a 125, where most Intels will run 65. So Intels, you can get away with overclocking them a little bit more than you can with an AMD. But then again, like I said, AMDs are kind of meant for power housing games. Alright, what was I doing? Oh, yeah, right, I got to finish plugging in all my headers. This here, I don't even know if I have the camera aimed right. There is the audio header. Yes. And when I get around to it, I'll, try to keep an eye out, and as soon as the weather warms up a little bit more, I was going to work on the stuff out in the garage. I've got to clean it up first, and then I'll work on building a couple other computers to where you can see that. I think I have a spare case. Come to think of it, yes, I do. Yeah. And my USB 3. Where's the tab? Oh, tab's the other way. But I kind of missed some of the, they haven't really changed a whole lot in design until like the last, 5 or 6 years or something like that now, where, you know what, I'm going to have to wait on that. where they started adding stuff like these M2 boards, and of course, SATAs now, but that's been for a while. And then the PCI Express, where they phased out the PCIs a bit, where I think all the new boards, they don't even have PCI at all. It's all PCI Express now. And unfortunately, you're limited to how many channels and what you can get away with the PCI Express. So in other words, it's kind of harder to have a whole lot of fun add-on shit like you could with the PCIs. Of course, depends on what you really want to put on it. Alright, there's my other USB. Okay, now are these connected now? I think all these were connected. Now I have to... I wonder if I can get away with this. Can I get you in there? Please, please? Is this not going to work? Aha, got you in. Awesome. Now I think I'm going to use a right angle cable here if it's faced the right way. That's not a right angle cable. Shit. Well, my right angles I think are out there. Well, that's a bit disconcerting. Honestly, it kind of bothers me that it's set that way. This particular case makes that more difficult. Usually there's you have a stack of them right here. There's nothing up here. Yeah, 4 megabytes RAM. I have some old, I don't even know, I think I got a couple of motherboards that do actually work that I might, if I bother with putting anything together, I might put together a Windows 95 system where I've got maybe a grand total of 512 megabytes of RAM that I can actually stick in something. It's like the older SD RAM, it's like before DDR1. Or maybe it is DDR1. No, it's the older SD RAM. It's it's got the 2 slots instead of the 1 notch in the memory. Okay, before I get too far here, I think I need to put my good heatsink together and put that on before I get too far out of my way here. So, here's the heatsink. Alright, that's my heatsink. Here's the fan I'm going to put on it, and I need to pull out my screws. So I'm going to try doing this, and hopefully it will actually clear the RAM. I'm going to be so upset if it doesn't. If it doesn't, I may have to go get my other RAM, which is a little smaller, but it's only 4 gigs. And I'd rather keep the 8 gigs. Okay, yeah, I think that'll do. That's not... Oh, wait, yeah, that is. That's the right screws there. Yeah, I still got the Windows 95 somewhere, and I think I still got a key for it. I'm pretty sure that the key works, but I haven't really given it a good test run to find out for sure. But I'm sure I can find something online somewhere. Seeing as how it's kind of phased out, nobody gives a shit anymore. I mean, Windows doesn't care what you do. But at least with that, anyway. Because they're not supporting it, so they don't really care that much. This is... oh, come on. Seriously? How wide is this thing? That's standard width. Do I not have the right screws? Oh, no, those aren't the right screws. Got the right screws now. We're good. I forgot what those screws are for. Yeah, I thought it'd be interesting to like try to throw together a Windows 95 and maybe play some old floppy games. I think it'd be interesting. Now, what bugs me about this, I love this heatsink because it runs my AMD so much cooler than the stock cooler did. Like at least 10 degrees cooler than it would normally idly run. But since they came out with the AM4s, they changed the set so that they don't have a converter kit on this one. Cooler Master never made a converter kit for this, so I have to go look for a new one. I'm thinking about getting an actual one, where they have much better support, back support, forward support, shit like that. Their coolers use a universal mounting system, and basically anytime anything new comes out, they'll put out a new kit for like $8, and it'll fit all coolers that they've ever made. I think it's pretty awesome. But I'm gonna miss this. I really like this cooler, especially the fact that I can screw these in. It doesn't use those wires to hold the stupid fan on. And when I was looking around, some dude was complaining, like it was a stock cooler. It was like one of the usual AMD coolers. It's just like basically a square with a little 70mm fan on it, and it blows straight down. And this is what comes stock with every single AMD that they made, for the most part. And just about every other aftermarket, if you buy like a generic aftermarket cooler, they do the same thing. They blow down, just like this one. This one blows down. So what it does is it forces the cooler air, and it blows stuff out towards the RAM and everything, towards the motherboard. And that's like a much more efficient, time-tested system that they've used for like 20-30 years. And so this one dude in the reviews is complaining about, why would they do that? Who in the world aims the fan so it's blowing back at the CPU? I'm like, everybody. I don't know what you're smoking. Like, that system works better than anything else. Like, what do you have your fan blowing in the reverse so it's actually pulling warm air up off the motherboard? That just seems kind of silly, because you really kind of want the air blowing onto the fans, not pulling away from the fans. The fins, sorry, fins. Seems a bit silly to me. Oh yeah, I need the kit. Hang on a sec. I need to get my arms out before I do anything else here. There's my hard drives. Didn't I pull those out? No, I didn't. I thought I did. Yeah, I did. Where did I put them? Oh, now I'm confused. I know I pulled those parts out and set them aside. What did I do with them? I mean, yeah, you know, basic thermodynamics, right? You know, you want, oh, there it is. You want your stuff blowing down under your fins, just like a car radiator on a car, right? Why would you not want to do that? All right, come on. Which parts are which here? There's the other arms. Okay, those are the static arms. Alright, hold on, I gotta see what's gonna fit here. I may have to run outside and get a right angle. You know what? No, maybe I can just get away with one of the cables I've got. Oh, you gotta be shitting me. So which one? So it looks like probably that son of a bitch. Well, that sucks. Don't tell me I have to pull this motherboard back out. That's gonna suck. I suppose I really should have looked before I put this together to see, because that sucks. Now if it's this one, that'll be okay, because I can just screw this one. I can just screw in, but this one I have to screw in from the back, and it looks like my back plate isn't big enough. The only thing I can do is actually take off the whole motherboard and start over, and that is going to be such a pain in the ass with this motherboard. That's going to be a big disappointment. I mean, the fan works. It's just that I was really kind of hoping to switch out for my good one. Yeah, I've never, like I said, I've never worked with an Intel before, and I'm not entirely sure, so. Let me see if I can find my PDF on the cooler. I don't even know if I have that handy. I feel it might be in my box down there. Yep, I think it's down in my box. Hang on. Oh, I'm glad I keep a lot of my old paperwork. I know I have it in here, I just don't know where. There you go. So you can see what I'm doing. That's the monitor, that's that, that's that. That's that. Oh, still got my Sound Blaster Audigy stuff. That's that. Alright, come on. I know I kept it for that heatsink. I know I did. Yeah, so the only other thing I could think of was maybe I just had to clean that heatsink out there, and oh, here it is. Huh, okay. Pretty sure what I got here is 1150. That's not what I wanted. All right, let's see. There. Yeah, that's an 1150. Okay, yeah. Okay, so what I got. I'm going to have to end up using this bracket, which cannot be screwed from this side. Come on. I can't even seem to get this one set right. So, in order to screw the thing in, I have to get it back there. And yeah, I don't think that's happening. You know, if the motherboard were a little smaller, I'd do it. But it was such a pain to get it in there in the first damn place. Alright. That'll have to do there. So yeah, that is a real big disappointment there. I was really hoping to use that. Well, I guess I'm just going to have to save her for if I swap out to an AMD and yeah, see save the cooler for that. Bummer. That is a royal bummer. That's alright. I mean, you know, I was kind of worried about doing that anyway, because to be honest, plugging the fan in with this little, you know, I don't have a lot of clearance here. That's a real pain to get that in there. I usually have to plug it in and then screw the thing on, and I'm just not going to do that with like 5 hands, you know, where I need 5 hands to do it. It's just not worth it. It really sucks. I hope that fan doesn't go out anytime soon. Otherwise, I might actually have to use this thing. Yeah, and even if I could get that thing on there, there's no way I'd be able to get those top motherboard screws up there because I can't reach past the fucking heatsink to get it on there. If it was in my other case, sure, there's plenty of clearance, but just not going to happen on this one. Maybe we'll just look online and see if we can find a good aftermarket one. Or, if I can't get that IPX board to work, if I can't get that thing to work, I'll just steal the heatsink off of that, because that looked really nice. Looked like it was in good condition. And I think I'm just going to have to leave it on there. Like I said, the fan works, it's really cruddy. I have to clean it out. Like I said, I might have an option. It depends on if the ITX board is okay or not. If I can actually get that working. If I can't get that working, I'll just steal the heatsink off of that thing because it looks like it's the exact same thing. Okay, where's my cleaning tools? Alright. Here's a ghetto pro tip. This is a denture toothbrush. This thing has all the tools you need to clean something on your computer. And I love that part because it's really good for, you know, cleaning nooks and crannies. So for example, if I can get in here, first off, it'd be really nice if I can actually just get the fan part off. I don't think you can you? Can you? Nope. Not that way. It's all one unit. It's the other thing I hate about Intel. Like their heat sinks, like they have like a different mounting system for just about everything they've come out with. Every time they come out with a new one, they redesign the heat sink, and it's got different mounting brackets and whatnot, different mounting holes. I may have to go with a thinner toothbrush. Alright, the other option is to go out to the garage and turn on the air compressor and blow about 300 psi at this sucker. And that really blows, man. I was really hoping to use that thing. There's just no way I'd be able to get those screws in and get those nuts on. Now with where the thing is sitting, if it was over just a bit, it'd be fine. It'd be fucking perfect. Be okay. Or if I'd use the other pin set, then I could use the bigger one, where I can screw it from this side instead of trying to mount them on the back. The other thing that's nice about the Noctua ones is that you use, like with an AMD, you would use the existing backplate, but with an Intel, it comes with a backplate like that you put on the back, and then they have these mounting screws that go on the top here, and then a couple of mounting arms, and then the heatsink bolts onto those mounting arms after you've done all that. So you can put all that stuff together and then put the motherboard in, and then put the heatsink on. Makes things so much simpler. Ooh yeah. Nope, there goes the hose. I'm glad I took an allergy pill. Unfortunately, those Knoxville coolers are like not cheap. But from what I'm looking at, from what I'm seeing, it looks like they are so totally worth it. You know, it's something that'll last you the lifetime of any computer you ever get. So I at least want to get one of those for like my main computer. Crap. Oh well. Oh, excuse me. Alright. Are you shitting me? I suppose I could get away. Shit, that's gonna suck. My video card here is kind of a wide one. Yeah. I don't want to pull. I don't want to pull this thing out to put something in it, because this is that it's a LAN chassis, and that thing is for like routing your cables for security, so people don't just steal your shit. And I don't like moving that from that spot just because it's kind of nice where it is. So otherwise I'd mount it on the top here. But this fan, or this video card, I've got an aftermarket heatsink on it, and it takes up a triple slot. So if I put it in here, see, it's going to eat up the other PCI Express slot, and the only thing I can do is put it into these, one of these, and that's not necessarily going to work. They sometimes don't read these things. Depends on how many channels is in each one and whatnot. I've had them kind of act up on me. The only thing I could do is go out and get one of my other things here. I suppose I could do that. Kind of wanted a better video card anyway. I don't know. Leg cramp, ow. So I guess that's one idea. I can go out and get one of the other video cards. That way it'll free up this slot, this PCI Express slot here, that I know this will work in. Hang on. Right. I suppose I could try it. Put the video here, and then use this PCI Express which should be a ×4. I don't know if it'll work. Honestly, don't. Usually, if I try to run something like that in there, it doesn't always work. A few items I've had work, but sometimes they don't. And then put this, yeah. What do you think? Or should I just say screw it and go get another video card that's thinner? I got a few I can play around with. I was just kind of hoping to burn that one out. Got some mixed feelings here on that. Although, like I said, if I go get one of the other video cards, I think the one I'm thinking about would actually be a little faster, so it might work for processing faster. Might just be a better idea. If I do, though, that one's fanless. It doesn't have a, it's just got a heat sink. It doesn't have a fan on it. And if I use it for, basically I was going to use it for like Boink, which runs the graphics card all day long. I'd have to find a fan to put on it. Or I could just put my wireless up here instead anyway. Yeah, I suppose I could just save this from my XP boxes. Huh. Hi. Camera's off. I don't have that camera on. Yeah, I think I might do that. I think I'm gonna go grab one of the other video cards. I'll be back in a minute. I gotta go head to the garage to do that. If nothing else, I can always switch back to it if I want. So I think I have a solution here. This is a little newer, and at least I can use this to test with. And then I can put this here. Oh my gosh. It would help if I do that. Okay. Okay. Alright, and now come on, there you go. Put this cover here. This thing's gonna hum right along. Alright, now what I found is this bracket. I may have to pull another piece out. Actually, no, wait, why don't I put that on the bottom end? Great, I screwed that in pretty tight, didn't I? Piece here. And since it's going to be out in the garage, you know, it's going to be warm out there come July. And so what I got here is this thing, which mounts a fan right on it. Got it from PC Cooler, and I think you can still get it from Newegg, which is really cool. You can put either a 92 or an 80 millimeter fan on it, and it actually comes with two more brackets where you can put another second set of another fan on there, so you have two fans. Which the idea originally was one of our video cards blew out, the fan blew, and this actually turned out to be a really, really convenient solution to that. If I can get the screw in. I actually think these things are really awesome. It's a pretty good way to jerry-rig everything. And there it is, right there, and it should blow on that and that at the same time, in theory. I can't get away with this on a lot of motherboards, especially in this particular case because of the stuff that's right here. But all that's sitting right here is the audio. And it's not really bending the cables too terribly much and really causing a problem. So, now yeah, they do. In fact, hold on. You know what? I'm pretty sure I still have the link saved. No, I'll link it as soon as I find it. So, oh, come on. Nope, that one's out. I do believe they still have the 80 millimeter. It's basically the same thing, it's just the brackets. And I think you can probably just get the brackets if you poke around. Oh, really? They don't have it at all? Oh, that blows. At least, you know, if you can just get the brackets, that'd be awesome. Alright, let me see if I can... locate. bunch of heat sinks. That's also the same company that where I got the heat sink that was on the video cooler. It's Shenzhen. It's a Chinese company called Shenzhen PC Cooler. They do make regular heat sinks and stuff too, but it's kind of hard to find support. Even looking at their website, I couldn't find a lot of support. It's all in Chinese, and even still. Ah, yeah, here. I have to save that link. Yeah, there you go, right there. That's just the brackets right there, and it's the same exact thing. You just buy the brackets for $10, stick your own fans on it. These things are they're just so useful. They really are. No, that's PCI Express, that's that. Clip. Where's my flashlight? So did you just get into school or what? How long have you been doing this, doing the school thing? There's that. Come on, pop in. Snap, come on, pop in. Alright, fuck you. This is kind of a weird spot for the USB 3. Usually I see them down on the bottom or over here on the side. See, we got long cables like this. It kind of makes it kind of difficult to arrange your case the way you like without cables being all in the way. Alright. Is there a PCI Express? Yes. Yes. Okay. Alright, I'll leave those. Right. Yep. There. And there. Don't do that. Don't break shit. Come on, don't break. I think the tab on this thing's already kind of broke a little bit. Okay, it's fine. For some reason this is kind of fighting me here. Oh, okay, nope, there it is. There it is, I got it. Comply. Use those for hard drives. And that went in nice and easy. Good. There we go. All right. Uh-oh. You get back in there. Okay. Now, like I said, I don't know if you were there watching earlier, but this is my hot swap deck. So, I got this because this case originally does not have USB 3s. So I got it to get the USB 3s, and plus it was kind of nice for the extra hard drive swaps. And then got a little switcher to turn them on and off, and if you plug it into the right ports or tell it to acknowledge hot swap on whatever ports they're plugged into, great. It worked, you know, I mean, it's a great way to just check out drives, or if you're like me, for a while there I was just using this thing to test Linux, different Linux applications, see which ones I liked, or just goof around. That's true. That's true. But sometimes hands-on experience is helpful. But I'll admit, I'll admit sometimes going to school to have them actually show you things is kind of useful. Well, pretty useful. Yeah, well, they don't. That's the thing. Like, Cooler Master stopped making this. This is the Scout 1. The Cooler Master Scout 1. Shortly after this came out, like 2 years, they started developing the Scout 2. They're both decent cases, but I like this one better because I like having the extra bays for all kinds of nifty shit. And like I said, this gave me the opportunity when I put my hot swap in here. I was just loving this thing. Plus, I like the hard drive mounting rails like this. The ones I got on the other case there, which is a slightly older case actually, slightly older model, they are, which one is this? That's the 80 gig. They are kind of problematic the way they mount. But I figured it out and they're working okay, but I sort of prefer these. And like all the newer cases that they're making now, I can't stand them. They're like trendy. They suck. I can't stand them. It's like all about glass and stuff. Dude, you realize how much glass insulates shit? I'd rather have one that's got, a hole to put a fan on the side. Or at least ventilation. My other one. You know what? I'll link you that one. Yeah, hang on a sec here. Let me see. Alright. Cases. Should have saved that. Now, Roseville does make a few good cases, but they're not fantastic cases. I was loving the Scout series because they had this one. And then they had the Stormtrooper. Now they make the Stormtrooper SE, and the SE is like designed around fucking SSD drives and showing off the inside of your case, and it's just a big waste of time. I hate it. The Stormtrooper, she's kind of got it hidden. It's got like metal sides. I don't even know if I can find that one now, because like every time I try to find a link for it, I keep finding the newer one. And then, oh my gosh, I think I have to actually look that one up. Oh yeah, here's a new egg link for it. And now the second one was kind of neat, but one of the biggest problems for the Storm Scout 2, one of the biggest problems I had is that the mounts underneath the power supply here were these rubber, just basically tabs, these little rubber tabs that I would constantly rip off of shit. Like every time I tried to put a power supply, no matter how careful I was, the stupid things would rip off. I hated it. Big problem. And then the one I've got now, and I'm really happy that they even had it. And I got it through Amazon, actually. It was about $150 there. That's the one I've got now. That's the one I'm running with right now. And dude, I'm telling you, between this case and that case there, like, I was running about, say, on the CPU with this heatsink on my 125 watt AMD, it was running about like 40, 45 idle, depending on the temperature in the room. And now, right now, I swear to God, I'm probably only running like 30 Celsius. 35 maybe. Actually, it's a little bit warm in here, so it's probably running about 35. And if I actually like do something like start playing a game and like start, ramping it up and actually using the CPU, it'll get up to about 50 at most. In that case, the airflow is so nice in that thing. So yeah, I mean, liquid cooling's cool and shit, but you also have the problem of like, what if the pump goes out? You will never know until it's too late, until it like shuts down, until the computer shuts down from thermal overheat. But the other one, let me see if I can find the Stormtrooper. Not the SE. I want CM Stormtrooper. I'm going to get all kinds of Star Wars shit. Really? Not found? Is this the original? Yes. No, that's not. Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's the original. Hells yeah. So the Stormtrooper, that's the one that my fiance is using right now, and actually I really love that case. That thing's a joy to work in. And I wish I could have found another one of those because I would have liked to have gotten that. I like that. I just love the handle. The handle's a really nice idea. Is that my... Yeah, that's my 80 gig. Alright, so now what I need to do is I need to plug in the cables for the... Which way do these things face? Come on, which way do they face? Where's the C's? Come on. Oh crap, that's not telling me anything. I gotta actually look. See, there's a problem with... Oh, that's gonna be a problem. Alright. I'm sorry this part's not on camera here. Which one's one? Yeah, the Scouts are nice. If you could ever find one. Yeah, if you could ever find either a Scout or a Stormtrooper, I would recommend those. I highly recommend those. If you can ever manage to find... What the hell broke? What the fuck broke now? Oh, you sons of a bit. Ah. Fuck. tab broke off of the quick clips here. I think I have a spare. If not, I'll screw it. I'm going to use a screw. That sucks. Sometimes that happens. I've had a couple of them break already. There. All right. Okay. So let me slip this back in for now. I'll take care of that in a sec. Well, I think it was my own fault because I turned the thing upside down the wrong way, and that's what I did. It was my own fault. My own fault. I really don't like boards that do this. I kind of like the boards that go straight out from the board. It's easier to see, easier to do, and I just cut my hand apparently. Well, swapping hard drives might be an issue. I think I might be able to work around that anyway. So, that's the backside. Got that all plugged in now. Need to kind of bend these down a little bit. Yeah, so I've done this enough. I've had to improvise so much shit. I'll be honest, I know what I like to use, and I know it works, because I've had to do it enough times. But yeah, the handles, this is why I don't want to get rid of this case. I really love this case, but it's not really suiting some of my needs for some of my bigger stuff. Like I said, I kind of wanted a little bit more space in my main computer. But I do like this. I think this is just kind of nice to have. And if I can keep a decent board in this thing, even if it's like maybe one generation back, I'd be happy with it. Because I could always use it as a backup, an impromptu sort of thing whenever I need it. Or, you know, for travel or something like that. Or if I have to bring it in from the garage to stream, like if I'm working on the other computer. That was the other thing I wanted to do. Let's see. I need to find a part. So yeah, if you ever happen to come across and can find should just use this fan. Let's save this one for the computer out there. It's the same thing, I just have different mounts. I have more than one set. Yeah, if you could ever come across like the Stormtrooper, probably be the last case you ever need in your life. Okay, hang on. I still gotta find the other pieces. Do I have them in here? I really hope I have the spare clips in here. I think I ran out of clips. I think all my clips are broke. That's fine. That's okay. I do have enough of these screws for the back end here. The clips just make it easier, that's all. For hot swapping shit. That's fine, I don't mind using the screws though. More secure that way, at least it doesn't flop around. Why are you not going in there right? There you go. There you go. Alright, yeah, okay, so I guess that was it. Yeah, I thought I had a few more of those, but I guess I don't. Wait. Alright, so in theory, what these fans do is you put them like so. Showing that right? Okay, yeah, so you put them together like so. And then you'd have them blowing up, or sorry, this way, blowing up. That's the idea. Honestly, I don't know if I want to use both of these though. Do I? I suppose I could. It's just going to be over the USBs. Let me... the cable. These the 80 millimeters. Actually, yeah, I think I can get away with that. Yeah, sure. Let's put this together. I'll use that. Why the heck not? Let's see, there should be some fan plugs here. There's one. Could have sworn I saw another one here a minute ago. There's one there, but that's too far away. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, the bummer is that a lot of the new cases not necessarily. These fans might be kind of loud. And that Intel didn't sound that loud, so I'm not really that worried about that. Alright, you know what? Put this other camera on. Yeah, so these might be a little loud. In fact, I don't think they are that loud. But the general trick is that the bigger the fan, the quieter it is, because it doesn't run as many RPMs. And it also depends on the brand that you get. Some make a little more noise, some run a little lower RPMs, depending. I generally just go with Cooler Master because they're fairly cheap for a pretty good bang for your buck. Decent RPM, usually they're not that loud. But Noctua is one of the better ones. Those things are pretty phenomenal from what I've been reading. As far as longevity on those, I have no idea. But they generally, for less RPMs, less noise, you get a lot more air out of them. And I had noticed that when if I put a fan here, for some reason this whole thing kind of vibrates. And it sounds like it's a lot louder than it is. If I take the fan out and run it, it's not loud. But it's when it's on here, if I flip it around so it's actually sucking air out, then you don't even notice it's there. But if I have it this way, the way it really should be, blowing air in, for some reason it vibrates the entire case, or the entire sidewall. And it sounds like it's on a death rattle. I hate having bifocals. I really hate it. Yeah. But then again, I'm not that worried about noise on this one because it's going to be out in the garage anyway. The other reason I wanted to put that heatsink on because it's a 120mm fan and it's like really quiet. But that other one, that half X that I showed you, the one that I just got that I'm using right now, that thing is so freaking quiet. It's like there's a 230 on the front, a 200 on the side, and a 200 on the top, and a 140 in the back, and a 120 on the inside, and I don't hear a thing. Well, that's not true. I do hear something. I swear I hear more. I hear the hard drives more than I hear the fans. Oh, and plus the heatsink, 120mm heatsink. Yeah, no problem, man. I mean, I'm glad to help. Everybody's got their own opinion on stuff. So, I mean, what I recommend, do your own research and do thorough research. Don't look at one place. Look at everywhere you can. And try to see what the general consensus is. Although, like I said, not everybody's always 100% accurate. And there are a lot of people out there that'll tell you, well, this one's better than this, and this one's better than this. What's your source, dude? I mean, are you some idiot that doesn't know what the hell he's doing with computers at all? Nine times out of 10, I'll be in a game and some guy's talking about, well, this game isn't optimized. What the fuck are you talking about? You don't even know. Do you know anything about programming? No. Then shut the fuck up. Well, I'm running an Intel at blah 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 blah, and I've got it overclocked, and I'm running 15 video cards in this thing, and I'm still lagging like hell. Well, yeah, because you're running on an Intel, and it's an MMO. And it's more CPU heavy than GPU heavy, and you're just a plain idiot. Like, if you're gaming, you don't want to hyperthread, because hyperthreading is going to slow your shit down even more. I noticed with AMDs, if you look at things like SpeedFan, it'll show you what each core is doing. And I've noticed that with Intel versus AMD, Intel tends to run everything pretty much evenly across the board. All 8 cores are running exactly the same. With AMD, it's only running 1 or 2 cores for whatever it needs to do. So like if something else comes up, say you start up a music player or something, right? It'll start running another core to run that. In that respect, it seems to handle multitasking a hell of a lot better than Intel does. And which is, I think, one of the reasons why it probably works for games a lot better, too. I mean, I could be wrong. But, you know, I mean, that's what I've noticed. That's how I've seen how the cores work. I'm not sure why they do that, but that's what they do. And I've been noticing that with Intels for the longest time, is that Intels just don't multitask as well as an AMD will. Alright, I got a couple options here. What are you plugged into? You're not plugged into anything? No, wait, you have that fan right there, okay. And that's plugged into the other fan back there. You're not plugged into anything. Well, I could plug one right into the board, and then I can plug another one into there. That way I don't have to use that many extensions, adapters. I don't like doing it to the board too much because I don't like having that much power running through the board if you can help it. Another reason I don't like some of the newer boards, it really kind of bugs me about the whole RGB thing. It's just more power running through your board. You don't really need it. It can cause you problems later on down the road, depending on if you want to keep your stuff running a little longer. Then again, I guess if you're overclocked, you don't really care. Not too worried about the longevity. Right, true. And try to go through, you know, if you're looking at stuff, try to go through reliable sources. You know, try to... Linus Tech Tips is a good one. I like him. So far, you know, he's been pretty good about, or pretty accurate as far as I can tell about a lot of things. And in my opinion, a lot of people need to listen to some of that stuff because, you know, most people don't seem to know what the hell they're talking about. And then some people try to get too technical with you, and then you just lose the people that don't know anything about computers. You know, they're not explaining it in layman's terms. And seeing as how computers are starting to go a lot more mainstream, you have a lot more people that, again, don't really know what they're doing, don't even know how to put a computer together, much less what the things do. I'm not as knowledgeable as I'd like to be, but I do know a few things about hardware because I've put things together quite a bit in my time. I know a little bit about software, but I'm not a programmer. I don't really know much about coding. I just know how to manipulate Windows as much as I can possibly get away with. And I've been playing around with a lot of Linux, so trying to learn that, but again, that's a lot more coding, and I don't know that much about that. I really don't. I'm just kind of trying to muddle my way through as best I can in case I ever have to stop using Windows, or like I can't afford to use Windows, or for one, I don't really like Windows 10 much, and I'm not really looking forward to the change. So I might end up going full-blown Linux eventually. Okay, I'll use this one. This one's more compact. I like it a lot better. I like adapters. I like these adapters like this rather than these, because every time we try to plug these things in, sometimes the pins don't line up right and it won't plug into the Molex right, and you have to fight this stupid thing, and sometimes a pin will get shoved out. And if you have to chain these, this is a real pain having to chain these, because you end up, like, if you end up just like with 2 or 3 of them, it's like this long, and it's a big waste of space. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, dude, thanks for watching, man. It's been a while since anybody's actually watched me doing stuff like this, but yeah, great. I mean, I appreciate you popping in. Feel free to join me anytime. I'll try to be on a lot more often. I've been taking like my head's been not in a good place, and I just haven't really gotten around to doing what I want to do. I want to try to stream a lot more often, and when I'm on, I'm on. I'm trying to game more often, but I also want to go out to the garage and do more stuff too. Like build a few things and stuff like that. But yeah, by all means, man, you know, feel free to pop in anytime when I'm on. I'm usually on in the evenings. Sometimes I'll try to be on during the day. But it seems like my main schedule seems to be in the evenings, like right around now. But definitely thanks for watching and thanks for following. I'm actually kind of done anyway, so all I gotta do is take it out to the garage and test her out. I would test it out in here, but I don't feel like doing that. I'll just take it out to the garage where it's going to stay for the rest of its life anyway. Absolutely, I'll let you know next time I see you. But in the meantime, here we go. There is a done deal. My guy's boss, the guy who brings me all these parts, I think the guy's just on crack. I don't know what he does, but sometimes he'll like go and spend some good money on some good parts for a computer that's going to be a stupid office computer. And then skimp on other parts, which I think is kind of silly. Like he'll buy like the cheapest RAM he can find. Or he'll skimp on hard drives or something. He'll get like a really good video card, but then the processor's shit. Most of the time it's the RAM that I see, the RAM of the hard drives. I think that's kind of silly. Spends good money on these things and then goes and skimps in other parts. Alright. That there. Looks like a done deal. I think I got everything plugged in. I think we're good. Now, just got to take it out and try it. So in the meantime, thanks for watching, everybody. And y'all have a good night. Don't forget to check your pockets.